Farmer Dave, do you think people realise just how funny I am?
Just you?
Well, sometimes you. I definitely elevate you.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure people realise.
Maybe we need a laughing track.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like, on Frasier, when the audience laughs.
Oh, yeah.
And like on Home Improvement, when the audience laughs.
Yeah.
And on 2.5 Men, when the audience laughs.
Yeah.
And on How I Met Your Mother, when the audience laughs.
Yeah, dude, yeah.
And on Will and Grace, when, they're funny and the audience laughs.
Yeah.
And like on Big Bang Theory, when the audience laughs.
Yeah, man, we get it.
Hi, I'm Filip with an F.
And I'm David with a D.
Oh, come on, get your own gimmick. So, David with a D, what is our first problem that needs solving?
It's a dog question. I love dog questions. Now, this question comes from Nina. And Nina's in Las Vegas, believe it or not. We've got viewers everywhere. Nina writes in to say, I don't know how to calm my anxious dog. She has separation anxiety when we leave the house, and when visitors come over, she is very overprotective. She barks nonstop and tries to attack our visitors. What would you recommend?
Look, I know squat about dog behaviour, but this is right up your alley. You are a dog expert.
Yeah, pretty simple, straightforward. It's kind of like your girlfriend, right? Like if your girlfriend was acting this way, you wouldn't slap her and tell her to wake up to herself. You certainly wouldn't punish her and sit her in the corner. And we've got to treat dogs with a little bit more respect than I suppose a lot of people do by, kicking them out of the house. It's their house too. And if they're stressed in a situation, you've got to be able to get them to overcome that stress. And the best way to overcome any stress, we know, is by eating your feelings. So get some treats. You've got to get the treats. You've got to have the treats handy. If guests come over, you've got to have the treats and throw the treats at your dog. So keep some distance. Don't be handsy around your dog because dogs can react badly. They get nervous. They just bite, around food when they're nervous. That happens. So throw treats at the dog. And then the dog very quickly will get a few little chemical reactions in the brain and start to associate the new human with the high-value treats. Voila, your dog is happy that there are strangers in the house. And then, of course, this whole anxiety stuff, well, don't feed your dog out of a food bowl. Throw the food bowl away. And when you leave the house, you give your dog a really cool treat-infused Kong. If you don't know what a Kong is, Google it. Kong, K-O-N-G. Every dog owner needs to have at least 3 Kongs. As soon as you leave the house, toss the Kong to the dog, and the dog is like, I don't care where you're going, I have my Kong. Separation anxiety dissipates over time. Easy solve. What's our next problem we're going to solve?
Well, this one comes from Teresa. My daughter and I don't agree on how old she should be when allowed to pierce her ears. I think 13 is fair. Or am I being old-fashioned and uncool? How old were you when you first got your piercing, wherever it may be?
Never had any piercings, never had any tattoos.
I knew a girl, a bit of a middle child syndrome as well. And, she was the daughter of a single parent father. The mother had passed away and she wanted to get her ears pierced because all the other girls at school already had them pierced, but her father had said no. So she went and did it secretly and her ears got really infected bad. And even her older sister tried to cover up for her, but it made her sick, like actually sick. But it was a bad episode for Stephanie Tanner. And, she never really rebelled that much. So, it was shocking for me to see.
I told you, her ears look like Frankenberries.
Stephanie, your ears are infected. You let Kimmy punch a hole in your body? Why didn't you just fall on a rusty nail? Stephanie, you have to tell Dad. He needs to take you to a doctor.
Oh, no. That's okay. If you don't yell, you get a lollipop. And if you yell a lot, you get two.
Also, lay down the law. I guess I'm not a parent, but I do have a lot of birds and they eat when I tell them to. They live where I tell them to, and they know that I rule the roost.
Now look at here.
And so should your daughter. So you make that decision. You are the adult. And you know what? I always believed that I waited until I was old enough or legal to do something, and I appreciated it more.
Wow.
I mean, you have a daughter.
I have 3 daughters.
Oh, you've been busy. What if one of them is like only 5 years old and she wants her ears pierced already and, you know, she's arguing the point with you? How are you going to handle that?
Well, luckily, it's not ever going to be an argument that I'll have to deal with because their mothers have to have these negotiations.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, what if the mothers just went, you know what? I'm sick of dealing with this. You can deal with this one. You tell her that she can't get her ears pierced.
And I would say, sweetheart, it's not happening.
All right, then. Let's put it to the test. You be the dad and I'll be the daughter.
First of all, I'm asking for a paternity test.
And scene.
Daddy, I got my ears pierced.
No.
But why?
Because, sweetheart, it's a dangerous procedure if you're going to do it yourself and with your girlfriends. And without your mum's permission, you're not going to do it with a person that knows exactly what they're doing. And you are going to get very, very, very sore for a long time. And you may even lose your ear. Can you imagine what you look like without your ear? Sweetheart, no ears. What would you look like?
It's okay, my hair's really long, so no one will see if I lose my ear, and my eardrum's inside my head, so it doesn't really matter, I don't need them.
Damn it, even with the wig. Jesus, you have all the answers.
Dad, why did you lie to me about Santa Claus? And the Easter Bunny? Mummy said you got that tooth fairy money from your OnlyFans. She said it's dirty money. And I'll tell everyone unless you let me get my ears pierced.
Oh my God, this is parenting right here. Like parenting with 5 o'clock shadow.
And scene.
Oh my God, that was really hard.
I think we gave enough advice on that one. Did we solve it? Well.
Philip, you okay? Philip, what's wrong?
I'm very triggered. Like the rest of Australia, I've been watching Married at First Sight. And I am struggling with inviting a certain human into my home through the TV screen for 2 hours a night because he is Australia's biggest gaslighter. When did this show stop being about actual marriages and start being about the abuse of other human beings? Like, I'm shook. You know, it's scary, and it's not a great example of a healthy relationship or how marriage should work. So I actually reached out to some of our mates for advice on how to make a marriage work.
We need actual married people's advice.
Actual people that were married at first sight. Like Australia's favourite celebrity.
Hello everybody, now this is my take on how to keep a successful marriage. Okay, the first thing you do is nod, say yes, yes, don't argue. No, yes dear, yes dear, yes dear. The second thing is, right, if the dinner's not on the table or no one's cooked, don't worry about it. Just go out for dinner, don't argue about the dinner. And the last thing, which is the most important thing, is empathy and sympathy. If you can understand these two, yes, empathy and sympathy, you'll have a success marriage. But never ever cheat. And that's my way of saying keep your marriage tight. Never ever cheat. If you're going to cheat, you'll go straight to jail. And that's success.
Actually, did you see in the Daily Mail that he has a girlfriend now and they fully made out on the red carpet at a movie premiere?
No, I didn't catch that.
Here's the photo. Anyway, along the same lines as NASA's advice, Dean had something very similar to say too.
My number one piece of marriage advice, if you're going to have an affair, don't do it on national TV. Practical.
Yeah, I think the whole idea of marriage is to the exclusion of all others.
That led to some more interesting advice that we've received from Foxy Jojo.
The key to a successful marriage is to make sure your lover doesn't leave marks.
What on earth does that mean?
Well, I was a bit confused as well. So I actually went on Foxy Jojo's Amazon account and I found that she'd ordered one of these.
My advice to a happy marriage is always be loyal, treat them like a king, but always respect yourself and have a runaway account when you need to evacuate and get the hell out of there. Hopefully that doesn't need to happen.
I think that's good advice. Always have a getaway plan.
Absolutely. I mean, you've got to prepare for the weekend, right? To be able to survive the next week. So as long as you know that a Sunday is there or a bag is packed, I think you're able to keep going.
You know, it's the rainy day fund, really.
My advice would be never go to bed on an argument, because if you do, you're not going to get much action, are you?
Now, I've heard that from pretty much every elder couple that I've ever spoken to, that definitely not going to bed on an argument is the best way to keep a relationship right through to your 80s. So I think he's onto something. And the benefits of sex too.
Or maybe if you're Foxy Jojo, you do want to go to bed on an argument because, you know, a bit of a ruffle tuffle is a bit more exciting. You know, you've heard of hate sex, right? That's a legitimate thing.
As long as you've got a safe word.
True that. What would your safe word be?
Stop.
Stop, Daddy. Stop, Daddy. And last but not least, one of my favourites, Telvin the Third.
Hi guys, look, my advice for people getting married, it's not too late to pull out. Don't do it.
That very much aligns with my beliefs. Just don't do it. Why put yourself through a world of that pain? I mean, you never know. You could end up with a monster by the name of Brycicles.
We can solve most of the world's issues, but it's always good to get a little advice from our friends. So thank you, friends, but keep sending it in, slide into our DMs. And if you've been listening to some of our advice and you don't agree, you may as well give us some feedback on that too, because we can always learn a little from our friends.
What do you mean if they don't agree with our advice? Come for me, bitches. Come for me. Come for me.